Hello everyone. So today what we're going to be doing is we're going to be creating a text on a curved surface. So in order to do that, what we're going to be doing is we're going to open up our file, and the first thing we're going to have to do is create a text that is over our part. So looking at this right here, I have my model. I'm going to right click and I can go into rotate mode so I can rotate to see where I want this to be. However, if you look up here at the top, I can click the top method and I can rotate it to where I want it so it's easier for me to read it. The next thing I want to do is I want to create the text. So in order to create the text, I'm going to go up here to construct, and then I'm going to come up here to other methods. So if I click on the drop down arrow, you'll see that there is a method for creating text. I will create that, and I'm going to create the text Tulsa Tech, and then I can also give it a curved name. So I'll also call this Tulsa Tech. So by calling this Tulsa Tech, it'll be a lot easier to see it over here in the curved surfaces. So I will hit preview. So I don't want to hit apply or OK. I simply want to hit preview first to see what it's going to look like. Now by default, this will come up as 1 inch. So with that saying 1 inch and I hit preview, it's going to come up pretty big. So from here, it will take quite a bit of playing around to get it where you want it. I'll make it quick because I've already done this once. So I'm going to make this 150 thousandths tall, 150 thousandths wide, and then I'm going to hit preview. So that looks a lot more manageable. So the next thing I want to do is I want to change the angle so that I can read it. So I'm going to change the angle to 90 degrees, and it might be a negative 90 for you, depending on how you have your model orientated. So I'll hit preview again, and it does come up pretty good. So two really cool features is you can select this and put like minus 500 thousandths or positive 500 thousandths, hit preview, and it will move it. So you can play around with it. However, the location or the origin for this is the bottom left of the T. So to speed up the process, I can click a location just to kind of get it close. And I can see that looks pretty decent, but I want to center this a little bit. Well, doing this will kind of help you get where you want to be. So I'm going to take this and I'm just going to move it around just a little bit. I'll hit preview, and I usually do one at a time. That way it makes it a little bit easier. So that moved it up. I'll probably make it just a little bit more. And then now I've moved it up, I'm going to move it over. So I'll come over, we'll say negative 0.6. So if I zoom up a little bit, you can see it's still not centered. I'll move it to 7. Look like it went too far. So like I said, you can get as picky as you want on here. But that right there looks pretty dang good. So once you have it where you want it to be, you simply hit apply. Now if you hit apply too early, you can just simply delete and start right back over. Not going to hurt a thing. So I'm going to hit OK. I'm going to right click and go to isometric. Now if you'll look, you'll see that the text is up in the air. Well, I can't engrave on the part if my text is up in the air. So this is where it gets pretty cool. So I'm going to come up here to from surfaces, and I'm going to go to project onto surface. So I created a curve. I'm going to project a curve onto a surface. So it has already pre-selected that surface, but if I wanted to, I could select any surface I want to and then apply it to that surface. But it is critical that the text surface that you're wanting to engrave on, the text is right above it. So I will reselect that. The curve name, we'll call it Tulsa Tech, and because I already have a Tulsa Tech curve, I'm going to call it Tulsa Tech Surface. So then I have the face, and then I'm going to select the curve because I don't want curve number 1 to be engraved on there. I want the Tulsa Tech to be engraved on there. So from there, it's going to go in the negative direction because if you'll notice, Z0 is the top of my part, so I want it to project in the negative direction, and when I do that, I will hit preview because you never want to apply anything first, you always want to check it out. So if you look, you can see that I do have Tulsa Tech up in the air. and then I have projected the text onto the correct surface. So that looks really good. So I will hit apply. Now that I have hit apply, you'll see that it did create groove for each part of that text. So I'll hit OK. And if you come over here, you'll see that each curve is part of the text. So from here, I want to go ahead and click this because it's kind of in the way. I'll right click and I'll go to hide selected. So that way it's not in the way. So now it gets really easy because I'm going to create a feature out of this text and I'm going to make it a groove. So I'm going to come back to home and I'm going to go to features. On features, I'm going to select groove and I'm going to hit next. Obviously I don't want to do the engraving that's up in the air, but by default it's selecting it. So I'm going to exit that, and then I will come up to here and it starts right here with Tulsa Text Surface. I will hold the shift down and then I will select all of them and then I will add them to my surfaces. So once they are all green and all selected, I will hit next. So it turned blue. That looks pretty good. Now here's where it gets kind of wild. Whenever it pops up for you, by default, it will look like this, which looks really wild, okay? So don't worry about it. We're going to fix it. I always make mine 1/1000, and then I hit preview, and that makes it look just fine. That's going to make it in engraving text. That way it doesn't try to do too much and make your code too wild. So it's going to be face, simple engrave. I will hit next. Hit next. Now if you come up here, you don't have a tool for a grooving option. So I'm going to hit next and search for another tool. Now I have created an engraving tool. So in this instance, I'm going to select that tool, but I want to double click on it, because what you would do is you would go to add new tool. This screen would pop up and you would simply build an engraving tool. You can make any tool you want to, which is very cool because whatever tool you have to engrave with, you can model the entire thing right here. So those are all my variables. I will hit OK. I will hit next. I'm going to reduce this to 5,000 so that way it'll work on all my machines, and I'm going to increase this to 300. Now depending on how nice you want the text to look, you can slow it down to 10, 15, and if you're not too worried about it, you can go all the way up to 50 or 100. But I found that 30 inches per minute works really well. So I'll hit next, I'll hit finish, and there it is. So it has everything done. I will hit OK, and then I have all my other features selected, but before I hit play, I'm going to come down here and I want to play to the next tool change, because all I want to see is the next tool change. Before I hit play, I'll come up here to simulation and put it in 3D mode. So now when I select play to the next tool change, and I'll go ahead and speed this up because I want to get there. This tool is ran. So the next tool that's up, as you can see, is my engraving tool. So at this point, I'm going to reduce my simulation speed and I can simply hit play. Or if you have a piece of the engraving that you want to watch, you can single block this. But I'm pretty confident with it, so I'm going to hit play. And you can see that it does do the engraving just fine. From here, I would click on my NC code. Make sure that you have a good post processor, and if you already have ran this part and just want to do the engraving, you can simply come all the way down and grab the engraving, or because we know it does look good, I can eject, I can turn off the boss, and then I can come up here to center line, I can hit play, and you'll see that it does do all my engraving. Therefore, it makes it a lot easier to grab my texting program. So from the tool 1, I would simply come down, or you can grab all of it, and you just copy and paste it into your program that you have already made. So you can do it like that, or you can keep this. If you're just doing the engraving operation, you have your program all set up right here. So again, my name is Aaron Runk. Hope you enjoyed the video and put it to good use. Thank you for watching.